Everyone. I'd like to go ahead and get started today. It's a beautiful day, nice change in the weather. It's both warm and sunny, so that's nice to see. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our profile speaker this morning. John Rubesich has served in the field of education for the past 34 years, 17 of which have been in the capacity as a superintendent. John has served as the superintendent of the Grand Valley Local Schools, the Howland Local Schools, and most recently as the superintendent of the Ashtabula County Educational Service Center. It will be his focus today to provide you with an understanding of the inner workings of the Ashtabula County Educational Service Center. Please join me in providing a warm welcome for John Rubesich.
Good morning. It's nice to see so many familiar faces here today. What I'd like to do is, first of all, talk about the Educational Service Center. I know there's a number of people in the room that do know what the Educational Service Center does and what our charge is. Are there a number of people here that are not familiar at all? Let me see your hands with the ESC. Well, that's great. You're primarily the audience that I'm going to be talking to today. As we go through this, let me explain what the Educational Service Center does. We're basically responsible for streamlining educational services to school districts. Formerly, we used to be called the County Board of Education. And when you say that to people, they remember that. And you may not want to get too attached to the title Educational Service Center, because some of the things that we're hearing from the state right now is that they're going to change our name again. And it may become the Regional Service Agency. And as I go further in this discussion today and talk about House Bill 153, you'll see why they're looking to change our title. But right now, I think the Educational Service Center title really suits what we do and what our charge is, and especially dealing with educational services offered to school districts. I want to talk about profiles of ESCs in the state of Ohio, and then I'll focus on the Ashtabula County Educational Service Center and what we do here in the county. Throughout the state, there are 56 educational service centers. Again, they were formerly called Boards of Education, County Board of Education. We are defined in law. In state law, we are considered school districts, and when you look at federal law, we are defined as local education agencies. Local school districts are called LEAs. City school districts are even called LEAs at times. Those are sort of interchangeable. I also want to mention that formerly we were housed at the Ashtabula County Joint Vocational School, now called ATEC, name change there. Now we're located at State Road Elementary School. And I got to say, and I want to thank, I see Joe Donatone here, the Ashtabula City Board of Education. You know, they were very, very gracious in working a deal out with us. We're happy to be at State Road. I know that Ashtabula City is happy that we're there because they have a 1.8% income tax that all of our employees are paying into the local economy. But that building, Joe, you guys have taken care of that building. That building was a tank. It was move-in ready for us. All we had to do was just, paint the building. And right now on the first floor of that building, and I'll talk about that again here in a few minutes, we have about 80 students getting educated K through 12 in that building who are of special needs. 90% of the ESC personnel are in buildings. We hire many, many employees. We have 200 employees in our Educational Service Center, part-time and full-time. They're certified and classified. Certified being that they hold a certificate from the state. They're teachers. They're administrators. Classified, they would be teacher assistant aides in a classroom. They could be a student-specific aide in a classroom. In 2010, ESCs throughout the state of Ohio paid $18.5 million into state and local economies. Obviously that's a huge amount of money. Locally, we put a lot of money back into our economy too. Our funding comes from a variety of sources, local, state, federal, and other being grants. This is kind of important, especially when I get into the next few slides. Out of the 612 public school districts, 94% of those have agreements or alignments with ESCs in the state of Ohio. Now, we belong to one of 16 state regions, and if you look right here, you look at Ashtabula County, Trumbull County, Mahoning County. Right now, Columbiana County should be shaded in that salmon color. We run north to south, and that's Region 5. In those 16 regions, the state at one point wanted to go to super ESC regions. Okay, they wanted to streamline some of their efforts. There's a fiscal agent. Our fiscal agent is Mahoning County, typically the largest county in a region as far as population is concerned, student population. That becomes the fiscal agent, or they become the fiscal agent. The nice thing about that is the fiscal agent, that's where all the grants from the state run through, and they usually are able to capitalize on those grants coming through in administrative charges. They're able to pick up anywhere between 3 or 5% of the money coming to them from the state before they divvy it up to the rest of us. The changing roles of the ESC. And we talked about House Bill 153. That is the state budget. What's important here is that it authorizes ESCs to enter into service contracts with any other political subdivision in the state. And it specifies that we can enter into agreements with the Board of County Commissioners, and if you look at township trustees, without competitively bidding the projects or services. So for example, what the state is telling us, has anybody heard of Randy Cole? He's the director of the Office of Budget Management. You know, every time that I go to Columbus and you hear someone like Randy Cole talk, who's really Governor Kasich's right-hand person, they keep talking about shared services, streamlining services. There was a survey that went out to all public entities probably about 2 or 3 months ago. The results of that survey are supposed to be coming out shortly, probably within the next month. And I think what it's going to show is the state of Ohio, especially under Kasich's administration, they want districts, not only school districts, municipalities, townships, counties, to work together in a collaborative endeavor. They want, for example, and I kept hearing certain themes come out. Why do we need policing districts right next to each other, like, for example, roaming shores? Why do we need, Ashtabula, or when you look at Geneva on the Lake and Geneva, why do you need 2 policing districts or fire districts? Again, this is coming from the state. They're saying that what we're going to do is we're not going to give you those pots of money that we used to give you in the past. We're going to give you a certain amount of money, and you guys need to figure out how you're going to work together, how you're going to cooperate on this. Same thing with water districts. You know, why do you need all these different water districts, especially when they're right next to each other? We need to streamline those efforts. Now, this is interesting too, because when you look at this, it says it requires every school district with a student count of 16,000 or less ADM to affiliate with an ESC. Right now, we have one district that really, in our county, that really doesn't have an affiliation as far as a true contract with our Educational Service Center, and that's Geneva. Mary Zapatelli's here. She's the superintendent. We've talked about this. Geneva will need to align to an ESC. You know, we feel very confident because of the relationship that I have with Mary that she's going to align herself with the Ashtabula County Educational Service Center. But there's an interesting twist here, because originally when I heard about this and I knew the state was putting this out, I wanted to know if there was additional monies coming to Geneva from the state so that they affiliate with us. Because again, when you remember the one slide that I showed you where we get about 50% of our funding from the local school districts. Well, there's $6.50 that flows from a local school district or a city school district to us to help offset our costs, to help offset our management processes. Well, there isn't any additional money coming to Geneva from the state. You know, as money gets tighter, they're not providing those monies to different school districts. So originally when I heard what was happening and what I was being told at the state was that, sure, Geneva could come into our ESC, but then all the local districts, because we would have to provide supervisory services to Geneva, would share in that cost, so their costs could go up. And the discussion I had with Mary at the time was, you know, I really like you, Mary, but if you're going to drive up the cost for our local districts, you can go to Lake County and get involved with their ESC and do that over there. But we are working this out, and the state realizes there's some things that they really need to tweak as far as the finances are concerned. The director of the Governor's Office of 21st Century Education, it used to be Robert Summers. He's no longer there. I heard that he and Governor Kasich had a little bit of a disagreement, so when that happens, he's no longer there. The person that's really overseeing this today is Randy Cole. He's overseeing what's happening on the shared service end of this. Now, what does the Ashtabula County Educational Service Center do? Well, we serve all these school districts. We serve all the locals. We have contracts with Ashtabula City. We have contracts with Conneaut City. Soon we'll have contracts with Geneva City Schools as well. But anytime we have or we facilitate processes through our ESC, we have summer administrative retreats. We provide professional development. We have the Scholastic Bowl in county, our spelling bee in county. We include all the school districts, including the parochial schools, in those activities. I talked about the economic impact. We have 200 employees. Our total budget's about $12 million, taking into account state, federal, all the grants that we receive. We have collaboration within the state and within the region. The Ohio School Improvement Process. All of our districts have been participating in that. Now, the other thing that's coming out, and we also provide board leadership training. The Educational Service Center Governing Board has been very progressive in making sure that we bring sound professional development to the county so that we don't have to continue going outside of the county. And in April, actually April 24th, for those board members who are here, we're going to be having another Board Leadership Academy at the Educational Service Center at State Road. And some of the focus there will not only be legislative updates, but also talking about the Ohio Principal Evaluation, the Ohio Teacher Evaluation, and the Ohio Treasurer Evaluation, and the Ohio Superintendent Evaluation. These are all new initiatives that are being rolled out at the state level. We're also involved in a P16 Council. Our P16 Council aligns with our Region 5. It's a 4-county P16, Ashtabula County, Trumbull County, Mahoning County, and Columbiana County. Thank you. I'll be talking in some school jargon today, and Marta, thanks for pointing that out to me. P16 is really looking at educational initiatives going from preschool all the way through college. P16 has even changed, okay? Now some people are saying it's P20, okay? Because typically, and I have 4 children, I have not had one yet that made it through college in 4 years. They're getting through, but not in 4 years. And you have to watch that because typically what happens is colleges and universities, they do want your children to stay there longer. Minimum of 5 years typically. I see Mr. Newcomb over there, attorneys. What's it taking? 6, 7 years by the time you get through law school. But you want to watch that. You want to stay on top of that because if your child can take 1 or 2 extra classes a semester, they can get through in that 4-year period. Some of the educational consortia that we're involved in, cooperative purchasing. Kathy Seminaro is here from our office. Kathy, raise your hand a second. Kathy Seminaro is our HR person. We do cooperative purchasing among all of our school districts. But I would tell you this too. You as business leaders in the communities, if you're interested in participating in our cooperative purchasing agreements, give us a call. You can buy some of your paper from us. You can buy your office supply from us. Right next to cooperative purchasing, you'll see where it says e-school auction. That's really something unique and new to us today. I know Ashtabula City Schools, it was last week. What this is a reverse auction. So in schools, if we know we need hardware, technology, computers, and this is what Ashtabula City did last week, what happens is you know how many units of computers that you need. Let's say it's 50 computers that you're going to purchase, desktop units. Well, this company, they'll come in, they'll go out, and they'll seek the vendors that you'll probably use. There may be 5 or 6 vendors in this case. and they'll put a price to that. Let's say it's for 50 computers, it may be $50,000. That's where the auction starts. Typically, businesses don't really like this type of auction because what you do, you'll start with an auction at $50,000, and then it's a reverse auction, and you're going to see who's going to give you the best price on this. And you watch it live time. So by the end of the auction, it may be down to $35,000, and then you can lock in at that price. Another example on trash pickup, waste management. There was a school district, and we're participating in that, and that'll be within the next month or so, but there was a school district in Mahoning County, one school district, a single local school district, that reduced their trash pickup by $17,000 on this reverse auction. And it was the same company that was awarded the bid that provided it the year before. Now, this just isn't for schools. Businesses can get involved in this too. And if anyone's interested in that, give Kathy Seminaro a call. And on the blue card that you have on your table, that card stock, our numbers are on there. And again, Kathy Seminaro would be the person that you want to talk to about that. But there's some really cool things that we wind up doing with that. We have ongoing professional development, not just for teachers. We have it for classified individuals, bus driver certification. We handle some scholarships out of our office, the Franklin B. Walter Scholarship Award winner. Actually, this year it's going to a Grand Valley student, Emily Nye, is the Franklin B. Walter Scholarship winner this year. William H. Searcy Scholarship, actually, Mr. Donatone is the chair of that, but we also serve on that. It's run through our office. Virtual Learning Academy, I'll be talking about that here in a few minutes. And we also, our offices coordinated the countywide waiver day, where we focused on professional development countywide. We have districts, 6 of our 7 districts in the county are involved in Race to the Top. And even the district that is not actually officially involved in Race to the Top, they're still committed to all these activities here, making sure that you're looking to change instruction in the evaluation system of teachers, committed to building student success in the 21st century. We do a lot of grant coordination. During the past 10 years, and I think Kathy's been there for all those 10 years, she's brought in approximately $2 million in grants that really help offset some of the costs to our schools. One other thing that I'd like to point out that's very interesting, when you look at this Spirit of America grant, I was very surprised at this when I came back to the county. The ESC runs the Spirit of America, and essentially what it is, it's a boating safety program for junior high students, where we actually own these little sailing skiffs, sunfish I call them, that are probably like 8 foot long. And I think we probably take about 30 to 40 students every summer. More, Kathy? About 60 students through this program every year. And actually, it's getting to the point where we're looking to provide, it's all done at Lake Erie. We're looking to provide the same program at Pymatuning Lake. Professional development for educators, you can see there's a wide variety. We have relationships with all the colleges and universities, Ashland University, Kent State. Dean Stalker does a great job here. We have the dual credit program, and really the dual credit program in Ashtabula County is the model for the state. And the only reason we've been able to put that together really was because of Dean Stalker saying, let's get this done and make sure that our students who are in high school can earn college credit at no cost to them. Bus driver training. We are one of 7 pre-service institutions in the state through our ESC. And I'm going to put a plug in here. All school districts need bus drivers. You start off as a sub. If you know any of your neighbors, friends that are looking for work, believe me, as a substitute bus driver, we can use them and utilize them every day in school districts. Doesn't matter whether you live in Ashtabula City, Geneva, Jefferson, Grand Valley, Pymatuning. If you know people that are looking for some part-time work to start off, we need bus drivers in this county. We also offer preschool programs throughout the county. We have Grand Valley Elementary Preschool. We have Jefferson's is actually located at the ATEC, which is a joint vocational school. And we have a Pymatuning Valley preschool program. We were also instrumental this year in making sure that another unit was going to come to our county, and that actually went to Ashtabula City. Special education is big business for us. That's really one of our biggest areas that we focus on. You look at, these are people that we hire to provide special education services. Speech pathology. If you have a son or daughter that is pretty well versed in the sciences and you want them to have a very good career, look at speech pathology. You cannot find speech pathologists in the state of Ohio. Very, very difficult. School psychology, the same way. And you come out and you can make some very good money, and it's a great career. We deal with a lot of students that are emotionally disturbed. The State Road Elementary School, our Building Bridges program, and again, I'll talk about that. Multiple disabilities. We have 2 autism units at Grand Valley. We hire a lot of occupational therapists and physical therapists. Many of those are graduates of Kent State Ashtabula. Supervision, transition, professional development, and our work-study program. One of the things I'll say about a work-study program, there's a new program out by the state and the federal government called the VRP, Vocational Readiness Program 3, transitioning special needs students into the workforce. And we're going to start doing some of that here, actually at the end of this school year, and then follow through next year with it as well. Alternative school. This is near and dear to my heart. I think it's probably one of the best things that we've done as an ESC since I've been on board. When you look at it, starting at the bottom, building bridges. Initially, building bridges was a brainchild of Ginger Putman, one of our special education supervisors. She was tired of our students needing to leave the county for those services. Prior to 4 or 5 years ago, if a student needed, emotionally disturbed student needed education, typically we would send them over to Lake County. The cost for that student alone for the educational component was about $48,000 a year. To transport that student was about another $18,000 a year. So you can imagine what happens when it comes to special needs students. We're doing that in county at Building Bridges for half the price. And those students, they're on the bus less, parents are happy. The younger we get the students, the better opportunity we have to mainstream them back into their home school. And we've had great success with that. Paramount to making sure that this program works, there has to be a huge component for mental health. We have 2 full-time mental health counselors on staff, not to mention all the other agencies that we use. Community counseling, for example, they're involved with our kids. At the Youth Detention Center, the Juvenile Justice Center, we run that daytime education program there. On average, there are about 14 students, 14 juveniles that are incarcerated on any given day. The teacher that we have there is a former military police officer. He's about 6'5", 300 pounds. He has no issues with the students. But actually, I have to say, that's a great place to be a teacher other than not having other staff members to bounce things off of, because if a student comes in, if you come into the education room and you're not willing to behave and learn, you just look at the jailer and say, she's got to go. And then she goes back and she sits in her cell. But that's a great facility that we have there. And I got to say, we have a very, very good relationship with Judge Haig. And there are times when, as he sees students in the court, he'll look at them and say, you know what, you've had some issues. We're not going to send you right back to your home school. You need to go to Building Bridges first. You need to work on a behavior modification plan. And once they say you can go back to your home school, then you'll do it. So it really works out nice for us. I mentioned that we have autism units at Grand Valley. We have 2 units there. The teachers that we have just do a wonderful job. I mean, I think they have a straight beeline right to the pearly gates. These women are unbelievable. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that this VLA right here, that's our virtual learning classroom. In the county, we have a virtual learning school. On average, we probably send about 150 students through our virtual learning program for a variety of different reasons. Sometimes it can be credit recovery. We may have students that are school phobic, that the parent or the bus will drop them off at the front door, but you know what? They're going out the back door and they're going wherever they want to go. We have students that may want to take some classes for enrichment, because on a virtual learning program, they can actually take honors classes as well, and we've had that occur. What we can do, especially if a student, let's say, is they know that they're going to be homebound for 6 months because of a surgery, we can put them on a virtual learning program where all they have to do is open up a computer. But the nice thing about our virtual learning program, all the courses are taught by teachers from the high schools in Ashtabula County. So, you know, they actually have correspondence and contact with their homeschool teachers. We have gifted services. And part of that, those of you who attended the Scholastic Bowl, that's part of our gifted services programs that we operate. We have the Summer Allegro program. Human resource support. This is huge, and this doesn't need to, when they talk about regional service agencies, this is where we could reach out to businesses. If you need back office support, if you need HR support, if you have a business and you have priority positions that you need filled, we're skilled in doing executive searches. Kathy Seminaro does a wonderful job with that. You know, we've conducted all the superintendent searches in the county when there's a vacancy. We can do the same for the treasurers. But we could also extend that out to the businesses if you need those services. Back office services, we talk about payroll, business operations, purchasing. Again, you know, when you start thinking about the pool of money starting to evaporate, we need to be smarter in our day-to-day business operations. We need to work together. We need to collaborate. And if you have some ideas on ways that we can collaborate, you know, we should all join forces in the business sector, whether it's private, public, coming together and making countywide purchases. It only makes sense. And then making sure that we all reap the benefits of you know, costs that are driven down. We take care of all the licensure and certification, and we also handle child abuse and neglect prevention programs online. These are, throughout the county, these are a lot of different groups that we partner with on various occasions. This gives you an idea of our staffing. When I say we have approximately 200 part and full-time people, that changes on any given day. You know, I could have Alex Jordan, the superintendent of Pymatuning Valley, call me up and say, John, I need you to hire 4 tutors for the remainder of this school year. We really want to gear it up before these students take the OGT, or we really want to gear it up before they wind up taking the OATs. This is interesting. Typically, I didn't want to put any slides up dealing with the individual schools because I really wanted to talk about our ESC. But I think it's important for you to understand the students that school districts are dealing with today are not the students that you're used to when you were in school. Times have changed, especially economic times have changed. You look at this, Ashtabula City, roughly they have about 4,000 students. 71% of them are economically disadvantaged. But when you go down the line, you know, here you have Buckeyes, 63%. A lot of people probably wouldn't guess that in Buckeyes, 63% of the students are economically disadvantaged. Conneaut, Geneva, Grand Valley, 49%. Jefferson, 42%. And then Pymatuning Valley, 52%. Those are large numbers. And those kids are coming to school, the students are coming to school, you know, they have a lot of baggage that they're dealing with at home too. The work and the focus of the schools has changed over the years, but it's vital that we continue to support one another. And I think that's the only way we're going to get through the difficult economic times that we're facing today. I would love to entertain any questions anyone has. Not that I'll answer it, but I'll entertain it.